Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden and we're going to go back to a brewery who you've seen me review a good couple of beers from already, and these guys are kind of revered, if you like, for their New England IPAs, the hazy IPAs. So this is a brewery that you definitely want to keep an eye on if you are particularly interested in that style, and they do seem to be getting out there a little bit more at the moment. So for this review then, we are going to head up towards the Örebro area, a little bit to the north to a place called Nora, and we're having a look at yet another beer from Apex Brewing Company. This must be review number 8 or so that I've done from these guys here on the channel, and this is the second of the two IPAs that they released in May of 2020 through the Lokalt och Småskaligt assortment in Systembolaget. This beer is called the Zenith IPA and it comes in at 6.5% ABV. So really curious to see how this one turns out, and hopefully it turns out to be another very good beer. These guys certainly seem to have a very good base recipe when it comes to the New England IPAs, and I think a lot of the time after that they're just tweaking it and you know, trying different hops and things like that too. So yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out, and as always I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So let's see how we get on. As always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Apex Brewing Company before. You will see some more at some point in the fairly near future. I do have 3 other beers that you'll see reviewed very soon. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Apex Brewing Company then, on to my brewery notes. So Apex Brewing Company are based in Nora to the north of Örebro, and they were founded back in 2017 by Daniel Gatchitz and Niklas Lundgren, and both of these guys are musicians. There's a good number of breweries in Sweden actually that are founded by musicians. You know, Mikrofonbryggeriet now, Duck Pond, of course there's Odd Island as well with the guys from In Flames, and then you've got Apex as well with these two guys. So Niklas played in the band 59 Times the Pain, Daniel played in The Voice of a Generation, and those two are responsible for the brewing operations, but there are a few others involved in the company. This is Leif Carlson, Ola Eriksson and Roger Hjalm. And they started off with a small kind of 500 litre brew kit with 6 fermentation tanks, and they were selling their beers mainly just in the local area before they got them into Systembolaget, and this is where they really started to make their name. So in 2018 they brewed around 35,000 litres of beer per year, and there was about 25 or so different varieties produced that year, all of which seemed to be IPAs. I don't remember ever seeing a non-IPA style from Apex Brewing yet, and I've not even seen a West Coast or a black IPA or anything like that from these guys yet. So that's something that I really hope they start to do at some point in the future. I would love to see these guys do a proper you know, old school torpedo style West Coast IPA. That would be awesome to see from this particular brewery, because you know, I love seeing breweries that are famous for, you know, one particular style having a go at another. But as of this moment, over 2019 they were planning to brew about 100,000 litres of beer. I'm not sure if they managed to meet that target, but I'm sure over 2020 with the expansions and the exports and things that these guys are now doing, I'm sure they will be either at that or well in excess of it as well. But as of May 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, these guys have produced 85 or so different kinds of beer. So yeah, that's all I'm really able to tell you about Apex Brewing Company for the moment. If you want to learn more about them, of course, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on. And of course you can check out the Rate Beer, Beer Advocate and Untappd pages to learn more about all those different beers that they've done. I'm not sure how up to date their website is with all the different things, but they are pretty prolific, so it might be hard for them to keep that up to date if you like. But yeah, this is the second of the 2 beers that I'm reviewing for you over the you know, over May, and there will be another 3 double IPAs coming soon. So you can check out the Session IPA that I reviewed a few videos back. The Scarab, that was really quite nice actually, very, very light, drinkable beer, quite different to the other ones that I'd had from Apex before, but quite a lot of flavour in that one. So yeah, let's get on to this one and have a little look at the tasting then. So as you can see with this, typical artwork that you would expect from Apex, you know, the Illuminati sort of thing with the animal on the top of that. I do actually really like that, and there you can see on the side, Zenith IPA. Zenith, of course, refers to, from what I remember, Zenith has a few different meanings. I think the word actually comes from Arabic originally, but it's actually like a, when we talk about it in astronomy terms, it's like an imaginary point on the celestial sphere. I think it's supposed to be the highest point on the celestial sphere. I can't remember exactly what the point of it is. I was a spectroscopist, so I wasn't really doing spherical coordinates and all these other things that you would need that for, but yeah, zenith has an astronomical meaning. It's a point, an imaginary point straight above you in the celestial sphere. So yeah, 6.5% New England IPA. This one, the Zenith IPA, released May 2020 through Systembolaget. I don't know if Glassbanken had this one like a month or so before, which is quite common actually. But yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Just to tell you the stats about this beer, this one is hopped with Columbus, which is, you know, your classic bittering hop, Citra and Mosaic, lovely mangoes, juicy tropical fruits and a few complexities, and Mosaic we know is that lovely kind of tangerine orange thing. The malt base in this one is Maris Otter, pale oats, or naked oats, and torrefied wheat, which is normal for them, and they're using WLP 66 London Fog, which again is quite common. So the malt base and the yeast strain that they're using in this one is actually the same. It's actually exactly the same as was used in the Scarab that you saw me review a wee while back, just different hops, and obviously there'll be more, since it's higher in alcohol, 6.5%, there will be a higher malt content and things in there. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. I'm really curious to see what this has in store for us. So yeah, see how we get on here. I've had some very, very good IPAs from these guys over the last while. I think most of the ones I've had have been named after hops. And the very first one I had was the single hop, and I think that is still a kind of mainstay beer. But this brewery, I'm sure it was Citra they used in that. And I think the last one was like Citra and Motueka, or was it Simcoe and Motueka, I forget. But Motueka, a lovely kind of limey hop that you get from New Zealand. Huge fan of my New Zealand hops, of course. But yeah, as you can see, this beer has poured pretty much exactly as you would expect. It's got a lovely, look at the yellow colour in that. That's lovely. Lovely big bright yellow colour, definitely leaning towards that kind of pale end of the spectrum. This is just like a, you know, it looks like mango juice, almost the same colour as like you know, like a melon skin or something like that. Looks really, really nice. But as you can see, there's a solid one finger of a frothy, I would say kind of cream coloured head on this one. I don't think that's perfect white. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall, I have to say it does look pretty damn nice. So yeah, kind of what you would expect from Apex Brewing. This one looks very nice. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see there is a high degree of haze to this one, which is what you would expect from a New England IPA. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of the head there. But you know, overall, it looks pretty damn nice, I have to say. So yeah, let's have a little look at the aroma then and see how we get on with this one. Nothing overly surprising about the appearance of this beer. Ooh, this smells nice. So yeah, straight away with this beer, you can really smell, it actually smells a little bit, and I noticed this with the Scarab as well, their beers really do have this little bit of a farmhousey element to them. There's a little bit of that kind of woody, herbally, you know, that woody, herbally, grainy, vegetally sort of thing in that. You really get a bit of that at the back of the nose in this one. It's definitely a bit more pronounced in this beer than it was in the Scarab. But yeah, the thing is that the thing that's strange about it is that it comes out in the aroma, but it really doesn't come out in the it doesn't come out in the flavour. You know, usually these beers are always very smooth and you know, almost sweet actually. So that's the interesting thing actually. Maybe I need to take one of the sommelier courses and actually learn about the whole beer chemistry thing. I probably should with my chemistry and physics background that I have. That might be a useful thing. But yeah, too many things on at the moment though, that's the thing. But yeah, the aroma of this beer is really Really very nice actually. Once your nose kind of adjusts to the kind of yeasty elements over that sort of farmhousey thing, it really starts to it really starts to kind of sweeten up a little bit. So you've got all that kind of yeasty note. You do get a nice bit of wheaty quality out of this one. The wheat does have a little bit of pungency to it. You can smell a bit of the lighter pale malt in this one. I don't get too much in the way of biscuit out of this, but it is there kind of at the top of the nose, and you can smell just a wee teeny bit of the oats. I think this one leans more towards the yeasty and wheaty end of the spectrum, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, there is a wee bit of the oatiness at the front, but I think the yeast is the most prominent thing, followed by the wheat in the malt base. A little bit of biscuit, as I said, but not overly much. And the more and more you smell of it, the more and more that you smell of it, the more that it just kind of leans. It starts to lean towards the kind of yeasty side of things. It's actually really quite nice. I like how this. I like how all of this goes together actually. The aroma, the malty and yeasty side of things comes out very nicely. On the hoppy side of things, there's definitely a wee touch of earthiness to this one, and you do get that big kind of typical spice that you get from Columbus. Columbus to me is it's usually a bittering hop. Be interested to know if they have done a bit of dry hopping with it. I need to talk to Harry at Blue Nose about that. He loves Columbus. I don't know how it comes out, if it's a dry hop beer, because it's mainly a spicy floral kind of thing that you get from Columbus, and you can definitely get a bit of that in here, the really kind of spicy leaning side of the floral things. So I really like that about this beer. It does almost have a bit of that big floral aromaticity you'd expect of the West Coasters. But yeah, definitely a nice bit of a lighter grassy note to the beer as well. The earthiness is quite subtle, but yeah, on the fruity side of things with this beer, it's kind of what you'd expect. You're getting a little bit of mango from the citra and some of the softer tropical fruits in there, like the typical papaya, apricot sort of thing. What would I say it leans to? Yeah, definitely some of the stronger mangoes. There is a wee bit of that, typical darker grapefruity, passion fruity thing that you'll get from citra. It's a wee bit... I think the softer tropical fruits aren't quite as obvious, but I think this beer, it definitely leans more tropical than it does towards the kind of citrusy, tangerine side of things. You do get a bit of the tangerine note at the front. The more you smell of it, the more you'll get it. But yeah, this one to me, it really leans towards the tropical side of the fruits rather than the kind of more zesty oranges actually. So yeah, be aware of that when you have a look at the aroma here. But yeah, nothing really surprising about this beer in terms of its aroma. Mainly it's the thing that's getting me about these, because it's been, I think the last Apex beer I had before this was like in November or something like that. It has been a good couple of months actually since I had an Apex beer before the Scarab, come to think of it. I'm sure it actually was in 2019. But yeah, this one I think is it is pretty damn nice. It's got a nice smell to it. I'm just surprised at how farmhousey they are, because I didn't expect, you wouldn't expect that from the WLP 66 yeast strain. So yeah, let's have a little taste of this one then and see how we get on. This one is the Zenith IPA. It's 6.5% from Apex Brewing Company in Nora, just out to the north of Örebro, which you'll find out to the west of Stockholm. Let's get stuck into this one. Slanje, skål. Ooh. Yeah, it's pretty solid. You wouldn't, if you've had a few beers from this brewery, you wouldn't expect anything less. I was saying earlier that these guys, I wish they would try a few different styles and things like that. Say the same. I mean, I'm a big sucker for the West Coast IPAs. I always see it, and I think it's a bit of a shame that we don't have more variety in the IPAs these days. Even the new takes on the West Coast IPAs, they don't have enough caramel in them. They don't have enough bitterness, in my opinion. But I mean, I complain about the fact that there's no West Coast IPAs, but the New England ones like this, when you try ones like this, it's great. I really do like these. When I complain about there not being West Coast IPAs, it's not that I have anything against the New Englands. It's just sometimes you're in the mood for something kind of nice and juicy like this, but sometimes you're just in the mood for something that's just bitter as fuck, basically. So yeah, this one is is nice. This is another really solid IPA from Apex. I'm not surprised, you know, these guys know what they're doing with this style, so big thumbs up to Apex. But yeah, really nicely done. So yeah, as I was talking about, you know, in the aroma it does have this little almost farmhousey type thing to it. But then in the taste you don't really get it, so it must be that if you don't have such a high malt content it comes out more, because I do remember getting a little bit of it out of the scarab. So you know, it must be that the malty, having more malts and sugars from the malts in the beer, of course, you know, covers up some of these yeasty, these kind of little yeasty things. But yeah, I mean, this is the malt base in this is really, really nicely done. Let's try and break that down then. So straight away with this beer you do feel a bit of that kind of pale malty quality, just blankets the middle of your tongue. As you go towards the back of the palate with this one, you can feel some of the thicker kind of yeasty notes coming out of the beer. Also some of that more pungent, almost bitey, wheaty quality comes out of this one. I would say that this beer is actually very well balanced between the oaty, creamy side of things and also the kind of wheaty, bitey bit at the back of the palate. I would say it's quite well balanced there. But yeah, this is, I mean, as I say with these Apex beers, I'm not surprised. I like it's. I'm not surprised with these beers, and it's nothing surprising if you have had beers from this brewery before. I think this one's as solid as a lot of the other ones I've had, but it's just they're so nice. I can see exactly why they get plaudits within this style. So like I said, guys, this is a Swedish brewery that you definitely want to check out. I mean, in Scandinavia you've got Amundsen, you've got Lervig, you've got Stigbergets, you have OO Brewing as well. You know, you've got Apex now. Brewski are very capable in the New England hazy IPAs as well, but they're doing a few more sours and things like that these days. You've got Dry and Bitter and Gamma from Copenhagen as well. You've got a really great selection of breweries doing these big beers actually. So you know, it's there's a load of great stuff out there these days, and Apex are one that you definitely want to keep an eye on. But in the middle of your palate, in the kind of middle third of your tongue, the more you go into the aftertaste, you'll get a little bit of the kind of biscuity sweetness coming out. This one almost just has a little bit of that kind of oily, butterscotchy type thing, that kind of Werther's Original note. You do get a little bit of that in this beer. So I do wonder, have they maybe used a little bit of, maybe a little touch, pardon me, of a biscuit malt, or like maybe a Carapils, you know, something like that. Cara Munich maybe. It's probably Cara Munich, actually, come to think of it, would be a good one, because you know, it gives you the breadiness which will blend in nicely with the oatiness and the wheaty side of the beer, but it will give you a little bit of a sweet side of thing. That's a good point, never thought of that before. Maybe there is a wee bit of Cara Munich as one of the kind of regular malts in this beer. I would love to know that, actually. But yeah, because they do just say it contains corn malt as well. But you know, it does say, you know, Maris Otter Pale. I do wonder if they publish all the malts, because I guess obviously they don't want to kind of give away their recipe and stuff like that. So I'm saying, yeah, maybe there is a bit of Munich, Cara Munich in here. But you know, the Maris Otter will give you a little bit of that kind of biscuity sort of thing, come to think of it. So that makes sense, actually, when I come to think about, you know, if I was blind tasting it, I would maybe think a little bit of Cara Munich or something. But yeah, the malt base in this, I think, is very nice. As you move towards that middle third of your tongue, the front of that middle third of your tongue, you do definitely have a little bit more of a kind of oaty creaminess coming out of the beer. So yeah, I do like how this, definitely like how this one goes together. It's really quite nicely done. The malt base actually sweetens up a lot. It really, as you go further into the aftertaste, it sweetens out a lot. You do get a little bit of a kind of crisp thing to this one, and a bit of wheaty bitiness the further that you go into the aftertaste with this beer as well. So I really like how this all goes together. Back corners of the palate, you've definitely got a little bit of a kind of earthy type thing in there, which is good. That'll be from the Mosaic, of course, but then as you come further forward along the sides of the palate, it's definitely got that big spicy kind of note that you expect from Columbus. It's not overly bitter, this beer, you know, it is kind of typical for the New England style, but definitely you get some of those kind of nice spicy floral notes. Then around the front curve of the palate, there's a little bit of that lighter kind of grassy thing. Then behind the front curve of the tongue, you've got that nice oily quality where that nice kind of oily bubble where the juicy fruity esters roll out of the beer. I mean, it's typical for the hops. It really has a lot of typical, the typical things you'd expect of the hops in this one. You know, I mean, Citra and Mosaic is a bit of a classic mix, to be honest with you. So yeah, if you go towards the back of that oily bubble there, you do get a teeny little bit of the passion fruit, but I mean the fruitiness in this is very soft and very juicy in my mind. You know, mangoes straight away out of this one, then you can pick up the little subtleties, the papayas, the apricots, that kind of flavour out of it. You know, the tropical side of this beer is really very nice, but then as you reach the front tip of the palate, you start to get some of the kind of tangerine oranges from the Mosaic. There's maybe a little bit of pineapple to this one. The further you go into the aftertaste, you can feel a little bit of pineapple. I've been noticing that with Mosaic recently. It does almost have a little bit of a kind of pineapple-y aftertaste to it, if you like. But it could be the Citra right enough. I think the two, I'm sure the Scarab, I'm sure, did actually have, I'm sure it was that Citra, Mosaic and like Victoria's Secret that was in that. I think it was. So yeah, you do definitely get a little bit of, it would be one of those two hops, maybe both of them are given just a little bit of a pineapple-y quality the further you go into the aftertaste. But this beer, it really does start to lean towards the, it really does lean towards the kind of lighter tropical side of things. On the front kind of edge of the tongue, you do get a little bit of an almost gooseberry-ish note from this one. That's one of the complexities you can get from Citra, of course, and just, you know, even in front of that, there is just a little bit of a citrusy zest mixing in with the grassy qualities on the front edge of the tongue. So there's quite a bit of an interesting kind of thing going on with this beer in my mind. I really like how this, how all of this goes together. This is a really nicely done IPA once again from Apex. Not surprised because these guys really know what they're doing. In terms of the mouthfeel, then, I'd definitely say that this is. I'm aiming a lot. That's bad. This one, it's got quite a nice. It's mid-bodied, I would say. Carbonation's really smooth in this one. It's got a little bit of wetness to it, but mainly you can feel the smoothness kind of starting to take over this beer. Very smooth, but nice and drinkable beer. There is an element of crispness, I think, towards the back of the palate with this one. But on the hoppy side of things, the bitterness, I would say we're talking, you know, typical 30 IBUs, maybe 35 at an absolute push. Malt base, you know, very smooth. The yeasty characters, you do get a bit more of the yeastiness at the back of the palate, a little bit of bitiness there, but mainly it's quite smooth. There is a degree of sweetness in the middle of the palate as well, and then you've got some, you've got a nice little bit of an oily kind of fruity character towards the front part of the palate as well. I think it's quite oily, but at the same time, I think it becomes more oily the further you go into the aftertaste, but there really is quite a nice juiciness to the beer as well. But yeah, I really like how this one goes together. So yeah, big thumbs up to Apex Brewing Company for this one. They've pulled off another really damn solid New England IPA. Not a surprise, but it's always nice to have a good beer from Apex Brewing. So if you're interested in the New England IPAs, then this is a brewery that I highly recommend you have a look at, because they're doing some very good stuff actually. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one, the Zenith IPA from Apex Brewing in Nora to the north of Örebro here in Sweden. A lovely beer from another very good brewery. Hopefully we will try 3 more quite soon from this brewery, but hopefully beyond that we have got even more beers to try from Apex Brewing. Thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Till the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Apex Brewing, and I will catch you guys very soon with more beer reviews. Until the next time, stand just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Stand you, Skål. Make sure you check out Apex, and you won't be disappointed with the Zenith IPA. Kind of nice, light, tropically leaning New England IPA. Skål.